Welcome again to RACI 101. Today we are going to take a closer look at the RACI model. Firstly, a bit of an introduction to roles and responsibilities. Good employee engagement starts with a clear and defined job description. If the job description isn't explained clearly, if the requirements are constantly changing and difficult to understand, or if expectations are unclear, workers are at a higher risk of job dissatisfaction and productivity loss. A role is not the same thing as a person. A role is a description of a whole group of activities or tasks that a person in that role is expected to be able to carry out, and hopefully the right person can step into that role. Now, accountable and responsible are very different. Responsible typically means that someone is performing a task or activity, whereas accountable is the decision maker. This is where the buck stops, and it's their head that is on the chopping block if things go wrong. Accountabilities can't be relegated, whereas responsibilities can be, providing permission from the accountable person is given. Agile organizations can make decisions quickly. That is only possible with clear role descriptions. So to operate efficiently and get things done, everyone needs to know who is the A, accountable, who is the R, responsible, and who needs to be consulted and informed. That's something that needs to be in place if you want to become an effective organization that is able to decide quickly and act on what needs to be done. Now for the RACI model. So accountable means this is where the buck stops. Responsible is where things get done. Consulted, this is where we need to ask others before proceeding. And informed is who we let know after all is done and dusted. So RACI is an acronym which stands for Responsible, Accountable, Consulted, and Informed. So it's time to have fun. The idea behind RACI is to create a RACI matrix or chart. This is where you map your tasks or activities against the roles. The activities go down the left side of the chart, and the roles are across the top of the chart. To make it more interesting, we will fill it in relative to the current situation and then change it to the ideal situation. Then you fill in your various A's and R's in all the cells so you know exactly who is accountable, who's responsible, you know exactly who will be consulted, and who needs to be informed for the various activities. Making sense now? Let this chart sink in a minute. The amount of tasks that moms are capable of doing at the same time is one of the greatest mysteries in the world. Now dad and kids are helping mom with meals. Mom makes sure the shopping is done, dad does it, but mom consults with the kids as to what is on the shopping list. Mom seems to be accountable for the most things around the house, but at least now everyone knows they play a part in carrying out the tasks. To make sure no one forgets their tasks, print off the RACI and stick it on the fridge as a reminder. RACI can be used for any project or business on any size, from a family to a business with over 500,000 employees. It's all about identifying who does what in my organization or my environment. So how do you build a RACI chart? Well, there is actually a great procedure in place. First of all, identify all the required tasks and activities. Then identify the roles. So who should be doing or who should be performing all of these tasks? Then assign the RACI codes, who will be responsible, accountable, consulted, and who will be informed. Of course, this is a collaborative process. Then identify where the gaps or overlaps are. You can only have one A per task. Maybe you don't have any R's for a task, or too many R's, C's, and I's, meaning so many people are involved that the task may never be completed. So make your improvements as a team and get agreement. Again, going through a collaborative process. And then finally, you want to make sure the roles are following the responsibilities or the roles are performing the tasks they're responsible, accountable, and so on for. Then ensure the RACI is being followed. That's how you build a RACI chart. An analysis you should perform on your RACI chart is to see if we have more than one A, more than one person accountable. Sorry, that is not possible. Only one role per task can be accountable. You can't have more than one person driving the bus. No A's, this is also not possible, as you need at least one driver on the bus for each activity to be performed. If you've got heaps and heaps of R's for one activity, you may want to ask yourself the question, do we have too many roles responsible here? If you've got no R's for an activity, it won't get done. If you've got too many C's allocated to a task, you may be confronted by paralysis by analysis. No C's and no I's on your chart could be a sign of not having enough communication within the teams. So it's a really good idea to analyze who's doing what. Walking the talk. The RACI model, if written and not practiced, is just a piece of paper. RACI creates efficiencies when used, and organizations the size of Tesco in the UK, with over 500,000 employees, have used RACI to assist all staff in understanding their role in a very large organization. So whether at work or at home, there is a place for RACI in everyone's world.